Hey everybody, video here for you today, an ancient history news video. And first, I'd just like to say, hope everybody's doing well, hope everybody's being smart, hope everybody's not doing stupid things that makes this situation worse that we are all dealing with. Maybe I'll have more to say on it this weekend. But today, it's all about ancient history news, and I'm sure we could all use a break from the news we are seeing on TV, even though it is important to keep aware of the situation. Today, we are going down to Chiapas, Mexico. But this is a brand new story that just came out. This is called La Canja Tetztal, and I think the ruins are right down in this area. The team of researchers has uncovered a Mayan capital. I'm not positive of the location, but I'm just assuming it's right here. It's on a rancher's property, but let's just go over and read a little. Now, I first noticed this story yesterday, and then this story just came out a few hours ago, but this is what they have uncovered. They must be using ground penetrating radar, LiDAR of some sort, but this is what they have found underneath the ground here in this area. But it says the site originated maybe around 2,800 years ago and then was occupied for about 1,000 years. And here is a Mayan tablet found at the site and a diagram of what they think is represented on it. Looks pretty intricate. Now, on this website, it gives a map of the general area. It says a team of researchers from Brown University and Brandeis University has uncovered the lost ruins of a Maya capital in the backyard of a Mexican cattle rancher. It says Associate Professor of Anthropology Charles Golden and bioarchaeologist Andrew Scher believe that the site was the capital of the Sac-Tzi Kingdom, located in what is today the state of Chiapas in southeastern Mexico. That is a cool story. Let's just go on. Next story, let's go up to Kamloops in British Columbia. And a find was made here I thought was pretty cool. But here's Kamloops, some pretty impressive gorges carved here, probably at the end of the Younger Dryas. Let's just read. But it says here, a Kamloops archaeologist happened across a piece of history dating back between 9,000 and 6,000 years old while she was out on a stroll with her dog. She found this walking along the Thompson River on the Kamloops North Shore. Joanne Hammond, Director of Heritage and Assistant CEO with the Skeek-Cheston Natural Resources Corp., found the spearhead this past weekend as she was walking along the Thompson River. Anywhere that's not developed, there's a pretty good likelihood you're going to find something. She says the term site can mean anything from a single artifact to an entire village. Hammond is now in the process of registering the area near Kamloops North Shore as a designated archaeological site, and she found this because of low water levels, I guess. Pretty cool story. Next. Now, my next story kind of relates to my first one about the Mayan city being found, but this story just broke in the past few hours. This is San Mateo Etlatango. This is Etlatango right down here, and some discoveries were made. Ballcourts, very old, that push back the dating, and I think one of these is right down here where it was discovered, not positive. There is a little diagram on the website. Let's just read. It says archaeologists have excavated a 3,400-year-old ballcourt in the mountains of Oaxaca, Mexico. The discovery challenges current assumptions about the origin and evolution of the ball game that held ritual and political importance across Mesoamerica, a pre-Columbian cultural region encompassing Guatemala, Belize, most of Mexico, parts of Honduras, and El Salvador. Researchers have found more than 2,300 probable ballcourts, and some of those even spread up into the southern United States. I made the video about the Phoenix site a few months ago. It says, the game symbolized the regeneration of life and the maintenance of cosmic order because chemical analysis of several Aztec balls showed that their rubber came from Castilla elastica, a tree species associated with the plains of southern Mesoamerica. Archaeologists have favored the lowlands as a place of origin and primary evolution of the ball game. But it says, at the site of Etlatango, the older of two ballcourts discovered dates back to 1374 BC, pushing back the appearance of such structures in the Mesoamerican highlands by approximately 800 years. Here's a map showing the location compared to other sites here. Here's a location in Etlatango of where Mound 1-1 is, where one of the ballcourts was found. Here's a look at some of the excavation here, stonework beneath the ground. And here are some broken pieces of ceramic. They say these are ball players at the Etlatongo site. Here are a couple more of those figurines. It says, additional ceramic ball player figurines found above the ball court. Both wear thick belts or yokes with a loincloth. The figure on the left also has additional costume element, a collar or pectoral over the chest. And there is a look at those, once again, up close. And here it says Ballcourts plan view, structures 1-2 and 1-3, and a cross-cut profile of what these sites were like. Pretty interesting find. Ballcourts, how far back in history did they go? Well, that seems to be rewritten here. Let's move on. Next story, let's talk a little Egypt. I may have an Egypt video coming up for you very soon. I'm working on one as well as a few others. It's just taking time. This is the Valley of the Kings down here, just across from Luxor. And if you don't think the ancient Nile was one big river at one time, here is an ancient harbor right here. The entrance to it right here. Today, civilization is living on a long ago harbor that was constructed out into where the Nile once existed. You can see it perfectly right here. This is where the discovery was made, Deir el-Bahari, where probably the most famous site is the Temple of Hatshepsut here, but let's just read. This is a story that came out on Ancient Origins, but this is what was found. A chest, and here is the cartouche of Thutmoses. Here's Isis opening her wings, but this is a pretty fascinating find. A bundle was found here. Let's just read a little more. This story just came out a couple days ago. It says archaeologists working at one of the most famous Egyptian archaeological sites have made an amazing discovery. They have come across a stone chest and a wooden box with unusual contents. Experts believe these curious finds are very important as they may indicate the lost tomb of Pharaoh Thutmoses II, who died over 3,500 years ago. It says a wooden trinket box was also found, and it was in the shape of an Egyptian mortuary temple. I find that very interesting. Winged disc right there. It says included on the box was the name of Pharaoh Thutmoses II, and it reveals clues to the location of his tomb. Here is a relief of Thutmoses II across the river at Karnak. He died when he was only 16, and Hatshepsut then named herself Pharaoh of Egypt at age 22 or 23. It says a team from Poland's Warsaw University thinks they are real close to finding the tomb of Pharaoh Thutmoses II, coming from the powerful 18th dynasty. If they did, that would be a pretty incredible find. Let's move on. Next story, let's go up to the UK. Let's go to Ireland. And let's go down to right next to Dublin Castle. On Ship Street, right next to Dublin Castle here, an interesting find was made. I like talking about many different periods of history. It says, according to an RTE news report, ongoing excavations on Ship Street next to Dublin Castle have revealed centuries of the city's history, including remains of a previously discovered early Viking settlement. Archaeologists led by Alan Hayden of the Archaeological Projects have discovered that the Dublin, the black pool on the River Poddle from which the city derives its name, stretched more than 1,300 feet beyond its previously known extent. To the dig site, the Vikings first settled on Dublin, and according to the historical sources, anchored up to 200 ships there. Hayden noted that this new information also explains a reference to the pool in the name of Dublin's oldest church, St. Michael de Paul, which was founded in the 6th century AD and whose remains lie near the excavation area. Outside the church cemetery, Hayden and his team found the burial of a man who had his feet and hand cut off, a medieval penalty for insulting a king or a lord. But certainly around the world, a lot of major cities are built on top of older ruins. I have talked about that a lot on my channel. But that is a little look at some ancient history news. And I know a lot of you are thinking about the current events going on in the world, but as I said at the beginning, just be smart. Don't be stupid. That adds more chaos to this situation. Hope you thought that video was interesting, and you all have a very safe day.